All right, guys, welcome to the Branchpoint breakdown of our Thor 2 retrospective episode. And we are doing our breakdown on the season finale of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So,
Yeah.
what a finale.
Yeah.
Finale.
Yeah.
There's so much for us that we're going to just dissect and we're going to try to talk about each of the characters as they come up. I'm going to read to you guys, so spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it, I mean, at this point, who hasn't seen it? That's why you're watching our show. Excuse me. But just in case you haven't seen it, I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what happened in the episode, and then we're going to talk about the parts that we want to talk about, really. All right, so Karen's trial took a wild turn when Mayor Fisk is called to the stand. After a tense legal debate, Matt reveals to the world that he is Daredevil. The court rules the case dismissed on the grounds that there is no impartiality in this established system. Bullseye kills a fake Bullseye impersonator, thus sabotaging Fisk's attempt to kill Matt. Everyone is barricaded in the courthouse. Fisk battles New Yorkers to get his way, but it fails, and he agrees to surrender to Matt and takes a plea to be cleared of the legal system. Matt is arrested. Jessica Jones reunites with her lover Luke Cage. Mr. Charles appears to have recruited Bullseye for the CIA.
Yeah.
So, I don't know about you, Ike, but I had definitely a mixed feeling sense of this finale.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of hype online of this is epic, this is perfect, this is great. And I'm gonna give it its flowers where it's due on some of that. And actually to some of your predictions that you actually did get right in this episode. It just might not have been the exact way you thought.
Right.
But
it still happened.
It still was there.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, if you've been watching our show and we kind of gave you a little prediction, we never even saw the show. So, we're doing something right. Anyways.
That's right. We're paying attention.
We are paying attention.
Yeah. He had to reveal himself.
Yeah. He did.
It had to be him, too. Because if Fisk did it, it had meant something different. You know what I mean? Matt had to reveal himself. Well, we'll get there. Yeah.
All right. So, we'll just start at the very beginning on this. And if there's any characters in particular you want to talk about, maybe ones I didn't even mention on here, then just jump right in and give your 2 thoughts on it. But Karen's trial takes a wild turn when Mayor Fisk is called to the stand. Did you think that was going to happen?
That he was going to get called to the stand?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't have predicted it, but as the show started, I'm like, oh, this they're going to go this direction real quick. I'm surprised this happened this early on in the show. I thought this would be towards the end. You know, when I say show, I mean this episode. I thought him being on the stand with this whole legal debate and how that all plays out would have been more of a closer of the show. And I'm glad that they did it in the beginning because that kind of made it like we have this whole episode to get through with that now. Yeah, I mean, I like this, I guess. I get a little tired of Vincent D'Onofrio's voice as Kingpin.
Oh, I personally never do.
I like it, but sometimes I'm kind of like, okay. But don't get me wrong, he's great. This is probably some of his best stuff in the show. In this season is him on the stand. I like when he's trying to pretend to be good because like we see through him, we already know. So I like that when he speaks, he kind of uses the same mannerisms in no matter what mood or no matter who he's around.
Mm-hmm.
So whether he's telling a story to an enemy or telling a story to a friend or trying to convince everybody in New York that he's a good guy, he always goes that, well, when I was a boy kind of story. And I enjoy that because that keeps him, it kind of reminds me of the Joker where he's like, I got these scars. But I mean, Joker's always using that in bad terms, but this shows that this guy is just psychopath because he's going to use this kind of stuff, in all these angles like that.
That's a very good point you brought up there because he has used that phrase repeatedly throughout the Netflix version of the show and the Disney Plus show. When I was a boy in New York and all this stuff.
And it's just and the reasons why he uses it are very different.
They're very different, but I think the main reason he starts off his conversations like that is to try to sound empathetic
That's right.
to the audience that he's talking to.
Mhm.
Like, when you talk about your childhood, guys, and it's supposed to invoke this vibe of I'm going down a level. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the kingpin. I'm not the mayor. I'm just a boy at this point type
Right,
thing.
right.
And make you feel like you could sympathize a little bit with him.
Yeah.
But
It's like his excuse, so no matter what comes out of his mouth next, you can say, "Well, at least it's because it's when he was a boy."
yeah, but
Yeah, it's
it's
like, yeah.
very but
Yeah.
you're right. It's very psychopathic
Yeah, very much.
in doing that.
Manipulative, for sure.
Very manipulative to make the impression. So that's one of the things about that I like about Mayor Fisk is that he's continuing the same facade, just trying to do it in the public's eye to win public approval when it's funny. In the original Netflix show, he tried to run for mayor in the first season. It didn't work. And then, all that stuff went down and like he was getting out there in the public eye, I should say, a little bit more in the first season. That's when he met Vanessa, all this different stuff, and it wasn't panning out for him. Then he went to jail in season 2. All throughout season 2, you only saw him in like one episode. Then season 3, he's manipulating the FBI, which is, I gotta say, still one of my favorite seasons of Daredevil. Just so good. Anyways, and you see, he is always yearning for the public's acceptance of him, like he is missing that part of his childhood.
Yeah.
Whether it was because he killed his dad, he was torturing his mom. So very valid, Mayor Fisk. I actually will give you that. Props to that. But the problem is it turned you into more of a psychopath than you already were.
Right.
So probably not a good recipe for you. But it's he's always seeking this approval from outside sources. And I think that's been a key character development for him is that's never really changed.
Yeah.
Not really development, but a character quality for him. It's never changed. I was surprised that it was so early on that they called him in.
Yeah.
I did think though, it did feel like to me doing that felt like a finale episode though.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely upped the stakes of I didn't even know what was gonna happen. When he says I call Mayor Fist to the stand, I didn't actually think it was gonna show up. I part of me was actually thinking, okay, he's gonna do what other politicians do. They ignore a subpoena type thing. They're not gonna show, whatever. He's the mayor. He kingpin. But he did. And I will say some of my favorite scenes of this episode is the dialogue between Matt.
Yeah, I like the courtroom
and
banter in this.
Oh,
Yeah, it's what She-Hulk was missing.
yes.
Yep. We needed more of this stuff.
Not to be a Debbie Downer or say something and be like, what are you thinking, Sam? There was one moment in the show where I thought, could Tatiana Maslany show up for a second just to be another person?
Please no.
I mean, the problem is if she did, all eyes would be on her turning into the She-Hulk and all that stuff. So of course they weren't going to do it. But part of me is thinking, that's the type of tone I would like to see She-Hulk in.
Yeah.
That's the thing that this Daredevil show and Matt Murdock's whole storyline that he and Jennifer Walters are lawyers. And that's why I love that episode of She-Hulk when they actually got together. And that's the tone I wanted to see of a She-Hulk type show. You can do that. And actually, it would improve it 10 times than what we got. Anyways.
I do have to say,
from that, yeah.
He looks good in the red Daredevil outfit, but his red suit in this does not do him any favors.
Oh,
like, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a little too on the nose, but whatever. That's just me being picky. Picking nits.
Yeah. Well, move on from that. After the tense legal debate that we were talking about there of Matt and Mayor Fisk, Matt reveals to the world that he is Daredevil.
Called it.
Not only did I call it, but the if I could speak, the anticipation and the hype and the tenseness within that moment and within that part of the episode. Dare I say, this is the I Am Iron Man of the new phase.
Yeah, slow down now. Hit the brakes.
I know, but come on. For me, at least, being a fan of Daredevil and seeing him up until this point.
I'll give you that. Okay, if this show speaks to you, it speaks to you way more than it speaks to me. We are very clear on that. If you like this character that much, then I'm with you. I see that's your "This is Iron Man" moment. You gotta understand, when he said "This is Iron Man," you were like, "Wait, what?" Like,
That's true.
that
Yeah.
this was like, you felt it coming 3 sentences before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
I'll be honest with you, when they called him to the stand and he's sitting there and they're doing this whole thing, I'm like, "Oh, he's gonna do it here." I just wasn't sure what direction they were gonna go. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be him that did it, Mayor Fisk. I say him, sorry guys, we're looking at the screen as well. I didn't know if it was going to be Kingpin that outed him as Daredevil, or if he was going to out himself as Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm glad he outed himself, because to me, that's the only way it makes it valid for his point to be across and what he was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm with you. I wouldn't go as far to say it's the "I am Iron Man" moment, but I understand your excitement though, and I'm glad you have it, because
Yeah. Well,
it is a great scene. It is a great moment. And it's a big moment for this character, because it's the only time, right,
mm-hmm.
in the live action stuff this has happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened in the comics a few times, and in fact, this is taken right out of an iteration of the comics,
mm-hmm.
especially with him at the end, you know, but like, so it's not new to any Daredevil fans that he does this, but it is new to people like me who don't know that much about that stuff, that, okay, at least this happened. I like that did this. To me, that's a good swing and a big swing, and I'm glad they did it, and it
Mm-hmm.
needed to, regardless of how I feel about the rest of the episode, or whether I think this was a worthy finale to the buildup that we've been getting. That's a different conversation, but like, this was a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, personally, this should have been a mid-season moment, but that's me. I like things that go big and bold, though, guys. So don't, you can't take my word for all these all the time, because sometimes I want bigger. Like, to me, this is like bigger. Come on, go bigger, go bigger. I would have done this halfway through this season, and you'd be like, wait a minute, where do we go from here? But that's me. You know, I'm not saying that makes this bad, but yeah, great scene. Like, I'm glad he did it.
Well, I'll say about that "I am Daredevil" moment, and it did remind me of the Iron Man moment for a couple of reasons. I told you the hype that I was like, "Oh man!" But
Yeah.
anyways, just like what you said, when Iron Man said it, it made you think, "Oh, this is new territory. Where do we go from here?"
Mm.
And I feel the exact same way for Daredevil, because unlike Tony Stark, who is a billionaire and can, do some of these other things, Matt Murdock is not a billionaire. He's just a New York City lawyer that does a lot more pro bono stuff than anything. And part of me wonders what the story will be now for season 3 going forward. Now that the world does know I am Iron Man, is he gonna call Doctor Strange and make people forget like
Oh, my
Spider-Man did?
Lord.
I don't think so. But just
Yeah.
saying, I am curious now more so on what season 3 for Daredevil is gonna look like, and I am a little trepidatious, I would say, about that, because I don't know what story they're gonna tell.
I agree.
And yes, Fisk is still alive at the end of this episode. I will be very honest. When we get there, we'll talk a little more in depth. I don't like his ending, but we'll get there.
Mm.
For me, and I'll tell you one of the big reasons why. But
We probably agree on this then.
oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this part of him revealing himself as Daredevil, it was very dramatic.
Yep.
It was very tense, and it actually helped win the case. That, to be honest, it did feel like a huge uphill battle, because this is the system that Mayor Fisk put in specifically to make as airtight as possible, so people like Karen Page will be put away for a long
Yeah.
time. And so this is one of those I am Spartacus moments type thing, where you have to give it your
Yeah.
all, the best that you can, just to prove to the system that this is failing.
Yeah.
And they succeeded in doing that. So it was a huge swing, but I think it was a necessary swing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And I loved it. Well, as soon as I heard it, I immediately thought of my brother Ike from our last episode, and he said, I predict he's going to out himself, and be like, guess what? He does.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
really cool.
But and what a force that Vincent plays as him.
Mm.
Like, what a big dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, man, look at him. It's a Willy rectangle. Look at the size of that guy.
He seems like what was it? Willie No Wife?
Yeah. I can't remember what I said last time. Yeah, some Mr. Willie no wife or whatever. But
Yeah, go back a couple episodes of our podcast, guys. You're gonna hear I'd give a real
I mean, he is, but he just look at it. He's just like a giant rectangle. Like, he's just a big white rectangle that just
No,
says some really mean things. Like,
what's funny about that is he actually did look like that when they started the Netflix show because that was what they wanted him to
oh
be.
yeah, yeah,
And then as he as an actor has gotten older and he started taking his health more seriously, he himself
he's not that big.
no, he's not. And
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of weight.
yeah.
And he says that for the show, to maintain consistency, he's had to put stuff on. So underneath that suit is a bodysuit
Oh, poor guy.
that is weighs the same as what he actually weighed.
Oh my
From
goodness.
my understanding,
So that's why he
it's the
talks
same.
that way. His lungs are being compressed.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Because when we met him in Rhode Island.
Yeah, we did.
Remember? He wasn't a giant rectangle like this.
No.
Like he was actually, I was like, oh wow. And he was an actor that did have he did have different weights throughout his
Mhm.
career. I don't know if he did it on purpose for his roles, excuse me, but he definitely went through different transformations, you know?
Yeah.
Well, but as he's gotten older, he looked a lot healthier. He wasn't this giant
And
willy rectangle that we see here.
you know, what's funny is when we see there are certain angles of him that you see, like right now, guys, when we're watching it, he's sitting on the stand and they're talking,
Yeah.
they're doing their legal debate back and forth. But when he was walking into the courtroom and they had the camera angle of looking up at him to make him appear larger than life type thing,
Yeah.
you can tell that around his jaw and his neckline, he is thinner.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Mhm.
That is him. He actually has lost weight. He has gotten better in his health
Mhm.
and things like that. But once you get to his suit onward, he is
It's a
solid.
block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is a block.
Yeah.
But it's Kingpin accurate.
Well, yeah, 100%.
There you
No
go.
complaints. He looks great.
So, anyways, move on from that. The court rules to dismiss the case based on the grounds that there is no impartiality in this established system. Which, duh. Honestly, when to be honest, I was a little shocked. I kept saying this whole time, if they rule in Matt's favor, then those judges are going to be killed.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
was
sure.
expecting something to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
I was more shocked they didn't get killed
Yeah, me too.
because, like, to me, this is how I feel about this, guys. In reality, there should be impartial jurors. There should be impartial judges to hear the
Mm.
case, base it upon the Constitution and the law at hand, and see if this is legal, not legal, and what they're going to make the ruling on. That is what happens in real life. But how they've played it up in the show is that Kingpin has kind of propped these three judges up for these particular cases and speed track them. So it's interesting watching this episode, and now you get a little new twist on it, that the judges actually do have a backbone to stand up against Mayor Fisk. Because I really thought it was one of those cases where they're in his pocket.
Yeah.
And this shows they weren't in his pocket, but it also makes me wonder, I'm actually shocked because he has this task force in his pocket. And I know they make a clear distinction between the NYPD and the task force. You see that clear as day in this episode. But for a while they almost felt like one and the same.
Yeah, for sure.
So that kind of shocked me a little bit that this actually is an impartial judge.
Yeah, it's funny that it's almost like they needed to have that little ray of hope, though, because if there's something to say about this show is you kind of felt like you couldn't root for Matt because it seemed like everything was always against him when it come down to the law. So I think this is part of it that felt cliche to me, is the fact that he is an impartial judge. Because I think in real life, it would be the opposite. I think we do live in a time where there's people that are bought and paid for, and when I say that, it might not be financially always. It could just be favors. I think we see a lot of corruption in our face right now when it comes down to our governments, and we have some politicians that are doing a good job at weeding it out, and we got some that are making it worse. And we're not going to get into it. It's not that kind of podcast, guys. But it especially in a local level, though, like, so I'm very surprised that they kind of did it this way, but they had to have, we needed a ray of hope in this, and this was our ray of hope. So that, to me, I'm with you. I come to the same conclusion you do about it, but I'm definitely more surprised the opposite way though, if
Mm,
that makes any sense.
yeah. Yeah, I guess I was taking a look at this as kinda like how you just described, like and like he said, this isn't this type of podcast, guys, but this is in correlation to what we're seeing in the show, is that there are a lot of judges that either get appointed or
Mhm.
elected in and all that based on ideological stance, depending on who's in control and who's in power and all that stuff, so, judges are supposed to be partial, right? Is that the word? They're supposed to be impartial? I don't know. Yeah, they're supposed to be neutral is the best way to say it actually, when it comes to this stuff and just look at the facts and the law and
Mhm.
things like that. But do you always get that? Not always, because people's interpretations of the law and different things like that
Right.
are subject. That's why we have this checks and balance in this court system, to be honest. This judicial system
Mhm.
in general is to and figure out a way how to interpret the law on a legal standing.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and that's why if you don't like one ruling, you go up the chain of command and ladder all the way to the United States Supreme Court to get an ultimate ruling, and that's just the law of the land type thing. Um, so that's why I expected that in this episode.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If you were really gonna mimic what the unspoken thing of the real world, that
Mhm.
would have been more of "they're in his pocket."
Mhm.
But this does, to your point, it gives us and the characters like Matt and Paige, Karen Page, a ray of hope that they are impartial,
Mhm. Mhm.
that they are neutral judges.
Yeah, that his corruption only
That
goes
it's
so
supposed to
far.
be this way type thing.
Yeah, his corruption only got so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I did like how they twisted it though in the thing because what we've seen of the judges on the show so far is that they're like, well, this is what the law says and this is what we have to rule on type thing. But when he exposes that not only is Mayor Fisk a bad guy and he's
Mhm.
responsible for the ship coming in and being sunk and that what he's doing on that port and things like that. Um, but he also says it in a way to the judges that exposes the corruption system the Fisk has
Mhm.
put in play,
Mhm.
and that the judges, in ruling against them, are playing into the system the Fisk did.
That's
It's
right.
almost like trying to put it's almost like Mayor Fisk is trying to put them in his pocket without literally putting them in his pocket
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
And, Matt Murdock exposed that element of it, which is what won him the case.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, uh, so, I was just shocked at that, I will
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
It wasn't horrible at all.
No.
Actually, it was, like you said, a glimmer of hope that, oh,
Yeah.
some good stuff can come out of the corruption that's
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
for sure.
And part of me really hopes in real life that actually is the case in some of these courtrooms, to be honest.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, anyways, I will say because this is during that same scene and we actually saw it just play out in the background, the governor.
Oh, yeah.
This is my least favorite of the governor in this show.
Yeah.
Honestly, she has no purpose being there. And
Yeah.
even the only purpose I see is when she walks in and makes it sound like, "Oh, the governor is here to see what's gonna happen." Be like, "She's not doing anything."
Mhm.
So, I get it if she was this bigger, more powerful politician there. It would have made more of a statement to me if Julia Louis-Dreyfus walked in. To
Mm.
me, that would have upped the stakes in the bigger, broader scope of the MCU than the governor.
That'd have been a good swing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not to take it away from the governor there,
Yeah, just there's no
but
purpose.
there was no purpose, and then even as the episode progressed, she just barricades herself to to the one office, and even her little speech after the whole trial is done, when she says to the mayor, "You better resign, and we won't press charges." Part of me is like, "Press charges, for
Yeah.
goodness
Are
sakes."
you
That's
kidding
one of the
me?
things I don't like about this episode, but I'm gonna get to that point when we get to the end of the
Yeah.
episode, guys. Anyways, so the next part on here is that, Bullseye kills a fake Bullseye impersonator, thus sabotaging Fisk's attempt to kill Matt.
Yeah, I don't like this. Um, why I don't like this is I always thought he was just smarter than this. I thought Fisk was smarter than this. Like, I like that Bullseye did this, but once again, it's another one of those turns of taking this bad guy and we're just not quite sure if he's a bad guy anymore, and doing something that we obviously don't want, Matt to get killed. But I don't know. I feel like that's Kingpin's like ace in the hole was gonna be kill Matt like that. Like first
Yeah,
of all,
that doesn't make
he
sense.
wouldn't have killed Matt if Matt didn't come out as Daredevil, and like it was very clear to him while Matt was coming out as Daredevil that it's almost like, hey, don't go down this road. He kind of says that to him. Like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, out of everybody, why are you going down this road? So
Yeah.
he had to foresee that. See, that's my point. Did I miss this episode? Did I not see this part of the show? Like, so he had to foresee that. So if Matt comes out as Daredevil, I'm going to have a fake bullseye, kill him to help prove the point further past the point he just tried to make. But yet, I'm not going to know if he does that. So you're going to have a fake bullseye just on standby? Because he wasn't just going to kill Matt. If Matt didn't come out as Daredevil, he wouldn't kill Matt because Matt's a hero, right?
Mhm.
I don't know.
This
It gets kind of convoluted to me.
this could be part of Fisk's continuing propaganda campaign in showing that vigilantes are bad, regardless of what the outcome was.
So he was going to kill Matt, the hero. And see, there's a bad one. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't get that feeling though.
Yeah,
This is like
I
his
agree.
backup plan is what it felt like to me.
I had to think about this a lot and for this episode and really even rewatch the scene. And even what's playing right now is when he's after the shooting happens and they're all barricaded now and Mayor Fisk is giving an address to the city and all that stuff. I think that all this was pre-planned for Fisk. I don't think that the
Mm,
outcome of the ruling was pre-planned. I think that did shock him that he became I am Daredevil moment type thing. But
Matt was going to die here no matter what.
I think no matter what, Matt was gonna die
Okay.
to prove a point that even the heroes aren't safe with these vigilantes, therefore we need to
I think you're right.
that's probably the best way to keep no offense, but to keep some of these type of laws that seem extreme, you need to have extreme reasons why to keep them there.
Hmm.
And I think that one of the continuous themes in this season is see, Daredevil did this. That's why vigilantes are bad. See, this happened here. That's why vigilantes are bad.
Hmm.
So I think this is just a continuous and Bullseye, when the Bullseye and the amazing scene of Bullseye killing all those agents in the diner.
Hmm.
This is just another continuation. Vanessa dying, another continuation of we need to see vigilante crime to make the people stay involved with
Yeah.
behind Mayor Fisk. So I think preemptively that was going to happen either way. But um,
By the
I
way,
see your part.
this girl makes his propaganda video like minutes after he does the speech. Like, you guys, someone's got to get a hold of her. She needs to be someone's producer because that's quick. Like, man, she's on it.
Yeah. Well, also that's another disappointing thing I have about this episode. To be honest, is BB.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. It's not. I get the feeling that they're trying to invoke of a revolution, the people versus the system uprise,
Hmm.
and BB is the media head of it. I get what they're trying to do, but it
You know,
it doesn't come across in reality.
I kind of almost don't want to touch on this because I don't want this to be a political show. So I'm going to abstain from having something to say about this. I give these writers a lot of. I'm not a fan of this notion that they just did with that. Yeah, I'm with you. Despite Fisk being bad and he deserves it and all that stuff,
Mhm.
but the last time this happened, people called it an insurrection, and that's all I'm going to say. And I think that that's a problem that we have with how we identify what these things are.
Which ones we accept and which ones we don't.
Well, right, and it's like if you don't know it for sure, then we only know Fisk is bad because they're telling us he's bad, and it's like. So her actions, I don't know. I got mixed feelings. It doesn't feel right. I wish this finale was more enclosed and not so much of a public display of something.
Well, I
Does
will
that make
say
any sense?
I agree.
Because where's Spider-Man, by the way? When you don't think that there's a shooting at town hall where the governor is, that someone, that he's not like, wow, what's going on? I'm Spider-Man. Maybe I should show up and help. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to point that out every single time. But I mean, he's not going to be going to check this out. You know what I mean? This is where he go. He stops bank robbers. He's going to go help them at City Hall, right? Anyways,
we will judge that when Brand New Day comes.
Yeah.
But anyways,
sorry, I apologize. I want to get away from political things, so we'll put it on Spider-Man.
So, well, one of the things I will say about the point that you're trying to make there, I agree with you on all of that. The only saving grace I would say to maybe semi-rebut it, or at least ease your mind about it, is if when Matt included the lines, and they include the lines of Matt saying, "We're better than this, don't do this," to the people for going after Fisk.
Oh, yeah. No, great.
That was perfect.
Great.
That it would have been different if he didn't say that.
Right.
Then I would have had more of a problem with it. But it's nice to show, hey, even he didn't want this uprising, because this is between Fisk and Daredevil. This is not between the people and Fisk. And by the way, when we get to that, I actually think that's the next part.
Let's go right to it.
When Mayor Fisk is, and I'm trying to remember this specifically, how he's leaving the courthouse. I think it's
on a hallway, right?
Is it because they're calling for him to come out.
Yeah.
And the people are running from the outside. They've run through the task force has allowed them to come in and things like that. What a brutal scene.
Oh, yeah, man.
Fisk utterly Shao Kahning these people up.
Willie Rectangle has his day for a few minutes, that's for sure.
That's I will say I'm not saying I love it because I love killing. I love the comic accuracy and the continuation, the continuity for Fisk, that this is what he does. He will beat you down and all that stuff.
This scene is what makes the end, though, not work for him.
Yes.
Because at what point is it like, sure, just this and we'll let you go? Wait a second. There's a guy in this that he threw into a wall that guy's never going to stand up to pee again. You know what I'm saying? That guy's done. Like he's not walking ever again.
There's people that he's literally crushed their skull in.
Yeah. Yeah. Not good.
It's brutal how he kills them, and great for cinematic viewing and all that stuff for us to see what the Kingpin does.
Yeah, how New York PD doesn't just shoot him. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, guy.
When the governor was offering him this deal to leave, she spoke to her attorney general type thing, and she says, take the deal, resign, and we won't press charges. That's before he decides to commit mass murder on the people.
That's true. That is true.
Coming in.
Yeah.
That's the part when it gets to the end, and I'll just touch upon it right now since we're already talking about that I don't like about this show.
Nope. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I get, if you're thinking about Daredevil, the show as a whole, I understand when he went into prison after season 1. In season 2, you see that he's taken over the prison. In season 3, he corrupts the FBI. So we know what he is capable of doing in those situations. But the thing is, the stuff that he did here is inexcusable to anyone.
Yep.
It doesn't matter your politics, what deal you're going to give them, all that stuff. That would be the bigger, and I'm actually shocked that Matt wasn't pushing for this as a lawyer himself, that wanted him for the long time to be behind bars.
Yeah.
Why is he not in the raft?
Mm-hmm.
A super prison that's meant to hold the Abomination, whether or not he should have been alive.
Well, they didn't have the raft at that time.
Yeah, I mean, but they have it. Yeah, they have it now.
Yeah.
If you wanted to keep him alive, but he has to pay for his crimes, he should be there, not on a beach somewhere. What the heck type of message are you trying to send to us? Matt goes to prison, but he doesn't?
It's some weird metaphoric thing that this show does. I'm not game for.
The thing that I don't like about this is you inserted the governor in this whole fiasco.
Correct.
The governor has the power to commute sentences. Matt didn't even need to be arrested if she really was on Team Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
she would have been the one that would have said, hey, we needed Daredevil to stop the Kingpin. So therefore, we're forgiving him of whatever Daredevil crimes that was under Fist's law anyways for vigilantism. That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, guys. I know that a lot of people online really like this episode, and there are big parts of this episode I really do like, but
that guy's dead. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah.
We're at the scene of Fisk literally killing all the citizens as he's walking through the hallways. But anyways, which is epic. But it amounts to nothing at the end of this episode when there's no actual consequences for what actually has happened. In real world scenarios type thing, or in just logic speaking, it would be the opposite, where Matt is not going to prison. So I want someone to go into the comment section below and tell me that I'm wrong. Explain to me why I'm wrong. That Fisk had to end this way and Matt had to end this way.
It's the metaphors, Sammy. You don't see the metaphors? I mean, look, the hallway is red where Daredevil's fighting, and it's a bright white light where Fisk is fighting. It means metaphors. Like that's what this show has been doing. This whole. And this is where 100%. It's like, it's just like the white painting with the this and the that, and the red means this and the red means that. It's like, gee, why don't you tell us stories? Like, is this a painting? And I get it. Maybe this is the artsy version of this that we're going to get. And you can't let they can't let the style trump the story though, folks. And that's where I'm lost with this show. Like, this ending to me is like, what does this really mean then? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. And it's because it's a show that you want to talk about playing it safe. That's this show in a nutshell for me, specifically this episode. And that's even saying, even with him coming out as Daredevil.
And by the way, this scene just played, and I'm seeing this online of people saying that the worst scene of this whole episode was Karen taking down that police officer. That is not the worst scene. It actually, I think, was really well done. And it shows Karen has been practicing the beginning of the season of being in martial arts with Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. I never even gave that scene another thought, actually.
But I have been seeing people online that have been saying, this is horrible, women doing this. Shut up. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, that is misogynistic right there. And I will call that out. Yeah. There's nothing about that scene. This is not Super Pepper. So give it a break.
Right. Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Pick your battles and where it actually matters.
Yeah.
Anyways, going from that, we're at the
look at the symbolism here, Sam. You don't see it? The red, the white, the up above everybody, the justice, injustice, that metaphor. Sorry, guys. I know I'm being a jerk. You guys are not going to like me with TV shows, I promise you. But I'm being honest. It's still worth a watch the show. It's a good show.
I do like the dialogue, though, between Kingpin and Matt at this point, where he's saying, just give up, just surrender, just take the deal. Even though it's a stupid deal, just take the deal.
Yeah, after you just murdered 9 people, take the deal.
Me representing the people of New York would say, no, he doesn't deserve a deal. But for this context and this scene and everything, I think it is real beautifully written, really well done for that part, and really does showcase what Fisk would actually do. And I love how he has this childlike attitude of like, you took his toy away and he has to be punished.
Yeah,
he just lets out a type of thing, be like, okay,
he's a big baby,
won't shake your hand,
Yeah.
Anyways,
well, he saw he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, he did. And there was only one way to really end it for that part there. So, anyways, to move on from that,
then Matt gets arrested.
Stupid. I'm sorry. The only thing I'll say about the Matt getting arrested thing is, and I know this is hot online as part of a rumor, but I'm going to say it too, because I really do think this probably is going to happen. The Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer shows Spider-Man versus the Hand in a prison. Who is one of the Hand's main adversaries? Daredevil. Why is Spider-Man in a prison? Daredevil. I'm going to predict that he will be in this Brand New Day movie. Personally. Matt, it doesn't
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does actually. It does make sense. If Matt's going to prison, maybe Peter finds out there's some nefarious ninja clan taking over New York City.
Yeah.
And the
He
only
I
one
don't know about how I
continuity-wise
feel about Peter right now. He's missing all this, but yeah.
the only one continuity-wise that has actually fought the Hand is Daredevil, and so he rescues his lawyer, who doesn't even realize he was his lawyer because everyone forgot everything. So,
Right.
I'm just saying, I think that's kinda cool. Actually, that would be kinda meta. Think about it. Everyone knows who Peter Parker is, and then all of a sudden, they don't know, but now everyone knows who Daredevil is, and Daredevil doesn't remember that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the same thing. I think that's kinda meta right there. That's kinda cool.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll be shocked and actually a little
I think it's
disappointed
a
with
good prediction.
continuity-wise.
I think it's a very good prediction to make.
Yeah. Alright, so Jessica Jones, reunites with Luke Cage.
About time.
Yeah, it was about time we were gonna get to see
Yeah,
him
we knew he was coming.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like see, in the beginning of that scene, I thought that Jessica was and by the way, I will say Jessica is for me in this whole episode has been one of the highlights for me.
Yeah, well, her contributing to the action scene was excellent.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
her in the very beginning of stitching
Mm.
Daredevil up, and then he yelps out in pain, and he's like, "You've never done this before," because he actually used to do it for his dad in the boxing, so
Mhm.
he knows how to suture. She doesn't, and she says, "Go through childbirth." And
Mhm.
you tell me how that's like. I think that's really funny because I don't know how much pain she actually felt during childbirth. She's Jessica Jones, but anyways,
Right.
but and then when she takes the big swig of the whiskey or the rum or
Mhm.
whatever the alcoholic drink was, and she doesn't even say anything. She just gulps it down. Then she just walks around people and just is like, "I'm just going to fight now." Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think she's just so
She's got a
good.
great attitude, yeah.
So good. Anyways, I love Jessica Jones, but I thought that they were in Matt's old law office until they closed the door and it said Alias,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
on there, and that
That's
that
really
was
cool. I like that,
that's
yeah.
a nice touch to the Jessica Jones show. But anyways,
I agree.
alright, and then the last thing we have written on here, guys, is Mr. Charles
Mr. Charles.
appears to have recruited Bullseye for the CIA.
Yeah, what a sneaky guy, like
Now, when I watched that, I didn't interpret that at first. I thought
hmm.
Mr. Charles was on his way back home and Bullseye was there, and my immediately first thought was, "Oh, he's gonna die." But now, after rewatching it and rethinking about it, and I guess the prevailing theory out there is he's recruited Bullseye.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the first one. My first initial thought.
Me too, but I don't know. I don't think Mr. Charles has earned death yet because we don't really know
Well,
yet
see, that's
where
the
he's
thing about
going.
Mr. Charles that I don't like. He's irrelevant in the show.
Well, he's a liaison.
Yes, he's a
He's an
liaison, but what
in-between.
happens?
You know why he's here? Because they can't give you Louis Dreyfus. They can't give you
But even then, they didn't give him anything else.
Yeah, but he's the connection. That's your Thunderbolts connection. He's that connection. That's that
If
thing that we don't like that they do. That's what they're doing.
if this doesn't give you if we don't get a resolution to who Mr. Charles really is and what he's capable of really in season 3, this is stupid.
Well, he's the MacGuffin. No matter what can happen. What Mr. Charles really represents is if they by chance ever do want to bring these characters into the movies with the Thunderbolts or with that, they got Mr. Charles as a conduit. And if they don't, we can still never claim that they had nothing to do with it because, hey, remember Mr. Charles works for that lady. It's the characters. This tells me how irrelevant he is.
Yes. That's what I was trying to
And
get at.
you are correct, but they won't ever get rid of him for that reason.
I like Matthew Lillard, so it's no
I love him.
offense to him.
Yep.
It's the writing of it's
But
why is
now
he
they'll
there?
always have that connection that can't be denied, either one way or
It's
the other.
if what feels like to me is when you start this season off, you have Mr. Charles make this grand appearance. They do a whole scene of him being called from her, go up there, and um it makes it look like that's the guy who's going to be keeping him in check of doing what they want him to do.
Yeah.
And then midway through the season, it's like the writers or the direction they decide to do, the showrunner thought, let's change it up. And instead of the CIA being the reason why we're keeping him around, now it's the governor that's going to keep him in check. And that's what they continued out for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
If, like I said, if season 3 does not resolve some of this stuff, this was very pointless and stupid. and waste of some of the characters' times. Because you
Yeah.
didn't need the governor at that point if you had Mr. Charles and Julia Louis-Dreyfus in behind the scenes. Or if your intent was to keep the governor, be that checks and balance behind the system type thing of making sure he does what we want him to do, whether we like it or not type thing. Or to make sure he doesn't go too far, like what the governor has been trying to do, then you didn't need Mr. Charles to be part of it, or you could have rewritten him to be the liaison for the governor until the governor makes a grand appearance. Which I was fine
Yeah.
with the governor in this whole thing, honestly.
If this were me, guys, this would be the mid-season finale. And then the last few episodes would be Daredevil hiding the Kingpin because they had to team up in order to stop a group of people that Mr. Charles put together to take out Kingpin
Yeah.
and take over the city.
Yeah.
That would have been then Kingpin and Daredevil would have both been in prison at the end.
Yes.
That's how I would end it.
And it would have actually given a little more validity to who Mr. Charles is and what he's capable of. Because I'm sorry, there's only so often you can say Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is on the other line without it meaning nothing if you don't follow through with it. And her appearance in the MCU so far has shown weight. When she gets involved in stuff and then accumulate into the Thunderbolts and what she is capable of doing, she is that next deceptive Nick Fury type character in the background doing her thing.
And then have Bullseye be the one to take up charge of this new group of people with Mr. Charles to kill both Daredevil and Kingpin, to try to kill him. And keep Bullseye a bad guy. Even though we've had this ambiguous thing going on, keep him a bad guy, though.
Yeah.
Make it so he still has that edge and that turn to him that no matter what, you're not going to change him.
Yeah. Your thought about
He's
how
just say, see, you should have killed me when you had a chance, is what the great moments you could have had later. I mean, I'm telling you, that would have been more risky, would have been more fun, would have been excellent. You could have saved this whole him outing themselves as Daredevil until the very end and just have them both be in trouble. I don't know. I just think it would have worked. It would have been neat to see him sacrifice himself as being Daredevil in order to put Kingpin in prison, him and himself, but also using Kingpin at the same time to stop a group of people that are going to do something worse than Kingpin could be doing through the conduit of Mr. Charles.
Yeah.
That's just me, guys, but
yeah,
what do I know?
I completely agree. I like your version of how this show should have ended, to be honest. So anyways, do you have any final thoughts, or do you want to rate the season?
So I'll give my final quick thought and I'll rate it real quick. We're doing a 1 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
So my final thought is, if you guys like Daredevil and you like superhero shows and you like more of a metaphoric, artsy way of looking at it, this is your show. You know, I enjoyed watching it. I wouldn't say it's a waste of time. I probably will never watch it again. So, as shows go, my rating for TV shows, I'm pretty stickler, guys. So if I'm going to give it a 1 out of 10, I'll give it a solid 4 out of 10.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention the scene of Dr. Glenn putting on Muse's mask for the first time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that stuff always, yeah, that's right. I forget this too. That interests me to see where that's going to go. But to me, that's unnecessary because that should have been something saved for a different season. I wish it wasn't a cliffhanger for this season. Is all I'm
we
saying.
are going to see now a payoff, obviously, for the next season. So I'm curious.
Oh yeah, sure. We're gonna get some crazy stuff going on. I don't know whatever any of it means. I mean, we'll be there for it, guys. And you know, in worst case, we get through 3 or 4 episodes and we say, yeah, maybe not anymore. You know, it all depends. If it gets bad enough, you know, I don't want to just dump on a show if it gets real bad. So if it gets real bad, we might end up doing something else. But so far, we haven't gotten anywhere close to that yet. So,
well, your rating is 4 out of 10.
Yes.
I'm going to say for myself, what my final thoughts on this breakdown is that season 2 is much better than season 1. You do need season 1 as the building block for season 2, but season 2 drastically improves and reminds me of the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But I would probably give this a rating of like 6 out of 10 for myself personally. And I am
fair.
a hardcore Daredevil fan, but I do think that the Netflix show and season 3 in particular, and even season 2 is much better than Born Again season 2, in my opinion.
That's fair.
But I'm curious now to see what's going to happen in season 3. What are your guys' rates for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again? Did you
get the metaphors?
Did you get the metaphors? Did you agree with my brother? Did you agree with myself? Did you agree with our thoughts on it? Or if you don't agree, please comment down below and let us know your thoughts. And we are now going to move on to the main event at hand.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Thor, the dark world.
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned.